Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. This is a big year for a lot of things, including Disney. Disney is celebrating 100 years this year. And to commemorate the occasion, Disney Publishing is offering 4 very special books. I actually have them here in the studio with me today. One is called The Story of Disney, 100 Years of Wonder. Another, Walt Disney, an American Original Commemorative Edition, the official Walt Disney quote book. I love that one. And then one for the kids, but also us adults as well, The Art of Coloring, Disney, 100 Years. I'm excited about today speaking to Jennifer Eastwood. She's a senior editor at Disney Editions. We're going to talk to her not only about the amazing legacy of Disney, but what it's been like for her to see the early response to these new books, and of course, we'll remind you guys how you can get them for yourself. Jennifer, thank you so much for the time. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm just so delighted to talk about these books to us here at Disney Publishing.
Well, I think that's the big thing, Jennifer. I think they definitely will strike a chord with all of us. And I, as a person who loves history, I started off with The Story of Disney, 100 Years of Wonder, because I was curious about a lot of the backstory, which is great. But then I fell in love, too, with the quotes as well. I want to talk about this experience. What has it been like for you to see the way that Disney has become something not only for people to visit, but also to explore through books like this?
Well, I think Disney is a very cultural experience, right? It's something that is passed down from generation to generation. Your parents can share their love for it with you. You can share it with your kids and your nieces and nephews. So I think that taking a moment on an anniversary like this to look back and really appreciate the breadth and the history and everything that went into getting us to this moment where this thing called Disney means so much to us personally, it's a lovely way to acknowledge it.
I love it. And thinking about Walt Disney, I think a lot of times, Jennifer, we don't think a lot about, how this all began. I think that's why the quote book is so interesting. And what I love about the way it's designed, and we'll remind our audience again how they can get it, is that there are a lot of different topics that he's been able to touch on. What was that like for you to see how they continue to resonate after all these years?
Well, that's the thing, is my stance has always been, and I wanted to truly impart this through these books, is that Walt Disney as a person and what he has to offer us as a story and his learnings is so relevant, even in the modern world. He was so forward-looking and had such a vision for how people respond to each other and work best with each other and could help each other, that all those lessons that he can impart to us through his actual words of wisdom are just as relevant today. One of my favorite is actually, no man can do very much of consequence without the help of others. And how true is that in every aspect of our lives?
I love that. One of my favorite ones that I saw, and I love this, the one that talking about Disneyland, Jennifer. It's found on page 166. There it says, in the wintertime, we can go out there during the week, and you won't see any children. You'll see the oldsters out there riding all these rides and having fun and everything. I love that because, again, the Disney brand is something that is, I think, loved by young and old. Do you think that also is why there is such an interest and celebration, like I mentioned with the coloring book even, something that the young and those young at heart can be able to enjoy?
Absolutely. This art of coloring line that we have is all focused on adult coloring. And so what that really means is that the pieces can get very intricate, so you have to have a lot of patience. You're sitting there coloring these small spaces. Which can sort of be meditative as well. But the geekiness of it is fantastic in this book. You can go from a 1920s, Alice comedy, page to something from Pixar and everything in between. And really, I think that there's a lot of gems in there, some really fun artwork that our staff at the Walt Disney Archives truly just got behind that project in a passionate way to say, yes, let's dig up coloring art from, Treasure Island. That would be amazing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the other book that I mentioned, Walt Disney, an American Original, I mean, to be able to have it available, too, for people to be able to kind of look back through this commemorative edition. I love the fact that it seems like, and I'm curious as to your thoughts about this, Jennifer, that Walt Disney, part of the genius was that thinking outside the box and not being limited by geographic location. What was that like for you to kind of think how that kind of played into his success?
I mean, that's the thing about Walt. He never saw boundaries. He only saw, an obstacle that what would it take to overcome it to get to a goal. But he always thought in those big picture terms of, I see a vision. What is the team I have to put together? What are the resources I need? Who do I need to convince to get on board to back me up in this? And then let's make it happen. And he was tenacious, and that was really... You see that throughout his biography, which the reason that we decided to reissue that version of the biography instead of writing a new one is because that really was the one that was prepared in the 1970s, both with full support from the family and the company, and every single piece of, recording, every single document that is possible about Walt and his personal life, his diaries, all went into that book. So there really is no book as comprehensive to tell beat for beat Walt's life story as that one. And it really is it's a special book that I am so glad that my goal is to keep it in print forever, as long as that's something that I can be a part of.
Love that. The other thing I want to say, Jennifer, as a connection for our audience between Walt Disney, the American Original, and the story of Disney, 100 Years of Wonder, is that the idea of how the things that we have come to know and love, how they're bigger than entertainment, how it really is about being able to be a part of our lives. Talk to us about that and the contributors for these books. What was it like for you to kind of see the way that they were, inspired by being able to share these stories, but also, I think, to be able to bring all this together for the special 100th anniversary?
Well, the Walt Disney Archive staff was the backbone of this project because we knew that whatever we wanted to publish, we wanted to go hand in hand with that marvelous team because day in and day out, they come to work and they are all about preserving, cataloging, responding to requests about Disney history. So how does somebody who lives and breathes that want to share that experience with the world? And their answer was very specific. They did not want it linear, and they did not want it to just focus on Walt's life only. They wanted it to be very broad and bring the story up into modern day, and they wanted it to position it through Walt's lens. What was important to him? What were the beats in his career and his personal life that really resonated and were the kernel of everything that you see today at the Walt Disney Company? So that's why you really have a book that matches the Disney 100, the experience, which is the traveling show. And what you get from that is, okay, let's talk about sound and music, but from a holistic point of view where we can bounce back and forth from, the earliest days to modern days and everything in between, and really tell a very connected story about why all the beliefs that Walt had at the start of this are really still the foundational blocks that drive us today in our storytelling.
Love that. Such a great reminder and so great for our audience. I think we all need that inspiration and motivation these days, and we're glad, again, to be able to get it this way. Again, everyone, Jennifer Eastwood has been our guest, joining us from Disney, senior editor at Disney Editions, talking with us about these 4 commemorative books. They're available now to celebrate the 100 years of Disney. You can get them, of course, through our friends at Amazon.com or through your favorite local bookstore if they don't have it. I know they'd be more than happy to order them for you. Jennifer, thank you again for taking out the time. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.